I found a door in my apartment that wasn't there yesterday. If you ever wake up and find a door in your apartment that wasn't there the night before, don't open it. I know how stupid that sounds. I would have laughed too, until it happened to me. My name is Evan Miller. I'm 27 years old, and at the time this happened, I was living alone in an old apartment building on the north side of Pittsburgh. The building was one of those cheap brick places from the 1960s. Thin walls, loud pipes, neighbors who argued like they were trying to involve the entire floor. Nothing about it was nice, but it was normal. Until the morning I saw the door. It was between my bathroom and my bedroom. Yesterday, that had been a wall. I know that for a fact, because that was where I kept a framed photo of my sister. Now, the photo was gone, and in its place was a narrow white door with an old brass knob. Warm yellow light was glowing from underneath it. I stood there, barefoot, in the hallway, holding a coffee mug, waiting for my brain to explain what I was seeing. Maybe I was half asleep. Maybe I had the wrong wall. Maybe I was dreaming. Then someone knocked from the other side. Not from the hallway. Not from outside my apartment. From inside the door. 3 slow knocks. The mug slipped out of my hand and shattered on the floor. I didn't open the door. I ran out of my apartment so fast I didn't even grab my jacket. On the stairwell, I almost ran straight into Mrs. Carver, the old woman who lived below me. She was in her 70s, always wore the same gray robe, and somehow knew everything that happened in that building before anyone told her.
Evan,
She said.
you look like you saw something.
I pointed back toward my apartment. There's a door in there. She didn't laugh. She didn't ask what I meant. She just went very still.
A white one
My hands went cold. Yeah,
with a brass knob?
I nodded. Mrs. Carver grabbed my wrist hard enough to hurt.
Do not open it.
What is it? She looked up and down the stairwell like she was afraid someone might be listening.
Sometimes this building grows rooms,
What kind of rooms?
the kind you don't come back from.
From inside my apartment, I heard the knocking again. Only this time, it didn't sound like it was coming from down the hall. It sounded like it was right behind us. Mrs. Carver let go of me.
You have until midnight.
She said. Until midnight. For what? Her face went pale.
To figure out what it wants.
I called the building manager. His name was Garrett. He showed up 40 minutes later, irritated, tired, and still wearing his maintenance jacket. A new door? He muttered as he climbed the stairs. You serious? But when he stepped inside my apartment, the attitude disappeared. He stopped in front of the door and stared at it for a long time. You put this in? I asked. No. Then what is it? Garrett didn't answer. He took out his phone, snapped a picture of the door, looked at the photo for half a second, then deleted it. Why did you delete that? Because I don't want it in my phone. That was the moment I stopped trying to convince myself this was a misunderstanding. You know what this is, don't you? Garrett looked at me. Your lease is up next month. I can have your deposit back to you today. Just leave. What happens if I don't? He glanced at the door. Then, at least don't open it after midnight. Why does everyone keep saying midnight? Garrett didn't answer. I stepped closer to the door. The light under it was still there, warm, yellow, almost inviting. Like a lamp in a room you remember from childhood. Then I heard a voice, a woman's voice, quiet, familiar.
Evan?
My throat closed. It was my sister, Maggie. She had been dead for 4 years. Maggie was 23 when she died. She was driving home from a late shift during a storm. Her car slid off the road and hit a guardrail. By the time anyone found her, it was already too late. The last text she ever sent me is still on my phone. Call me when you wake up. I need to tell you something. I woke up the next morning and she was gone. For 4 years, I wondered what she wanted to tell me. Now her voice was coming from a room that hadn't existed yesterday.
Evan,
she said again.
are you there?
Garrett slowly backed toward the front door. Don't answer it. I stared at the white door. Maggie? Garrett swore under his breath. The light under the door flickered, and my sister's voice came closer.
I've been waiting for you.
Garrett grabbed my shoulder. You just let it know you recognize the voice. That's my sister. No, he said. That's something using your sister. From behind the door came a slow scratching sound, like fingernails dragging down wood. Maggie whispered.
Evan, I'm so cold.
Garrett shoved me into the hallway and pulled my apartment door shut behind us. Listen to me carefully, he said. Do not sleep tonight. Do not answer voices. Do not look under the door. And if it starts showing you what you want to see, he paused. Don't believe it. What do you mean, showing me? He checked his watch. It was 11:18 in the morning. Then he looked back at my apartment. It already started. I spent most of the day sitting in the coffee shop across the street, watching my own windows like a crazy person. At 2 in the afternoon, someone appeared in my living room window, a woman. She stood behind the glass, looking down at the street. I couldn't see her face, but I could see her hair, brown, shoulder length, just like Maggie's. I called Garrett. He didn't pick up. I called Mrs. Carver. She answered immediately.
You see her in the window?
She asked. I froze. Yes.
Don't wave,
Why?
because she'll wave back.
I looked up at my apartment. The woman raised her hand. I didn't move. She started waving anyway, slowly, like she already knew I was watching. I left the coffee shop without paying for my second coffee. At 6 p.m., I went back. I told myself I was only going inside for my wallet, my laptop, and my documents. 5 minutes. Then I was leaving for good. Mrs. Carver was waiting for me on the stairs. She had an old shoebox in her hands.
This belonged to my husband. He was a superintendent here before Garrett.
Inside the box were old photographs, apartments, hallways, bedrooms, and in every picture, the same door, white, brass knob, warm light underneath. On the back of each photo was a tenant's name and a date. What happened to them? I asked. Mrs. Carver pulled out a folded newspaper clipping. Local man disappears from apartment. No signs of forced entry. Another one. Young couple missing after neighbors report screaming. Another. Police find no evidence of break-in. I kept looking through them until I saw a photo of a young woman smiling at the camera. The caption read, Laura Whitcomb, 24, missing since October 1996. Who was she? I asked. Mrs. Carver sat down on the step.
The first one I knew about.
She opened it?
Yes.
What was inside? Mrs. Carver looked toward my apartment door.
Whatever she missed most.
I went back inside at 7:12 p.m. The door was still there, but the wall around it had changed. The hallway wallpaper used to be gray and peeling. Now, around the door, it had turned pale yellow with tiny blue flowers. The same wallpaper from the house Maggie and I grew up in. Then I smelled it. Cinnamon, laundry detergent, old carpet, the smell of our childhood home. Music started playing behind the door. Softly, a song Maggie used to play on Sunday mornings while cleaning. I stepped closer.
Evan,
She said.
remember when we used to hide in the closet from Mom?
I did. Nobody knew that story. Not my friends, not Garrett, not Mrs. Carver. Nobody but me and Maggie,
Remember
she whispered.
when you told me if I ever disappeared, you'd find me?
I closed my eyes. Maggie died. There was silence behind the door. Then the voice said, No. The brass knob turned by itself. I stumbled backward. The door didn't open all the way, just an inch. Warm air slipped through the crack, and I saw a piece of a room, our old kitchen table, Maggie's red mug, her hand alive, her fingers nervously tapping against the wood.
I didn't die.
She whispered.
I got stuck in here.
I slammed the door shut with my shoulder. Maggie screamed from the other side. Not like a monster, not like something evil, like someone in pain.
Evan, don't leave me again.
I ran into the kitchen, grabbed a knife, and sat against the wall facing the door. It was 8:03 p.m., almost 4 hours until midnight. Then my phone vibrated. Unknown number. The message said, "She isn't lying." A second message appeared. Not completely. Then came a photo. It showed Maggie sitting at that same kitchen table, but she didn't look 23 anymore. She looked like she had lived every single day of the last 4 years. Dark circles under her eyes, scratches on her neck, a piece of paper in her hands. On it, written in black marker, were 4 words: "Do not open fully." I called the number. Garrett answered. "Where did you get that photo?" I asked. "From the last tenant who made it out." "What does not completely mean?" Garrett sighed. "Nobody knows exactly what happens when they open it. We only know some people disappear, some come back." Did Maggie come back? I don't know, but she might be in there. Garrett didn't answer. "Why didn't you tell me that earlier?" "Because everyone who thinks they can save someone opens the door." I looked at the white door. "Can you?" Silence. "Can you save someone from inside?" Garrett was quiet for too long. "One person tried, and he came back. Alive?" "Yes." "Then what's the problem?" Garrett lowered his voice. "He didn't come back alone." At 9:30, the door started showing me the accident. Not like a video, like a memory projected into the hallway. Rain, headlights, wet asphalt. Maggie's car crushed against a guardrail. But now I saw something that had never been in the police report. There was a white door in the passenger seat. Maggie, bleeding and terrified, reached for the brass knob. I screamed, "Don't open it." She couldn't hear me. She opened the door and vanished before the car caught fire. That was when I realized something. Maybe they had never found Maggie's body. Maybe they had only found what the door left behind. At 10:15, Mrs. Carver called me.
You're still inside, aren't you?
Yes. She started crying.
Then listen. My husband opened that door in 1989. He heard our son's voice. Our son died when he was 7. My husband went in and came back 3 minutes later.
What happened to him?
He lived another 12 years.
That doesn't sound.
But every night,
She interrupted.
he talked to someone inside the walls.
I looked at the door. Who did he bring back? Mrs. Carver didn't answer for a long time. Then she whispered.
Not our son.
From behind the door came a child's laugh. Not Maggie. A little boy.
Mom,
The boy called softly.
I found another one.
Mrs. Carver heard it through the phone and hung up. After that, the door stopped pretending to be normal. It started breathing. The wood pushed outward slightly, like something on the other side was pressing its whole body against it. The brass knob became wet. Dark water leaked from the crack underneath. Then, footprints appeared on the floor. Bare, wet, one at a time, leading from the door toward me. But the door was still closed. I backed away until I hit the kitchen cabinets. The footprints stopped less than 2 feet in front of me. Then Maggie's voice spoke right next to my ear.
Don't you want to know what I was going to tell you that night?
I froze. The last text, "Call me when you wake up. I need to tell you something." I had thought about that sentence every day for 4 years. "What?" I whispered. The lock clicked. The door opened by itself. Just a crack.
Open it,
Maggie said.
and I'll tell you.
It was 11:47 p.m. I almost did it. I was standing in front of the door. My hand was above the knob. Then I saw something on the floor. The framed photo of my sister, the one that used to hang on the wall. It was lying face down. I picked it up. On the back was a message written in fresh black ink, in Maggie's handwriting. Evan never called me Maggie. I stopped breathing because it was true. Everyone called her Maggie. Our parents, her friends, the police. But I never did. When we were kids, I called her May, always. Not once that day had the voice behind the door called her that. Not once. I stepped back. Who are you? Everything behind the door went silent. Then my sister's voice changed. It became older, lower, wrong, hungry. I ran for the front door, but the front door was gone. There was only a wall. My apartment had become a box. No exit. The white door swung open. Behind it was not a room. It was a hallway. A hallway with hundreds of doors, hundreds of voices. Men, women, children, all calling someone's name. At the very end stood Maggie, the real Maggie. I knew it instantly because she was crying and silently mouthing two words, "Don't come." Behind her stood something enormous, too tall for the hallway, bent in half, long arms dragging across the floor. And where its face should have been, there were only mouths, dozens of them, each one speaking in a different voice. "Evan, son, mommy, baby, help me." I closed my eyes, and for the first time in 4 years, I said what I should have said a long time ago. "I'm sorry, May." Every voice stopped. The real Maggie looked up and nodded. Not for me to come in, for me to close the door. I slammed my shoulder into it. The door shut. Something screamed from the other side so loudly the mirrors cracked. I grabbed the knife and started tearing at the wallpaper around the frame until I hit old brick underneath. The door shook. The knob twisted. Voices screamed. Maggie, my mother, my father, me, all begging me to open it. I didn't. At exactly midnight, everything stopped. The door was gone. The wall was back. And my sister's photo was hanging where it used to be. Only now, she wasn't alone in the picture. Behind her, reflected in a dark window, stood a tall, bent figure, watching over her shoulder. I moved out the next morning. Garrett gave me my deposit back in cash and didn't ask a single question. Mrs. Carver stopped coming out of her apartment. A week later, the building was shut down because of electrical issues. A month after that, it was demolished. I thought it was over, until this morning. I live in another city now, a newer building, 9th floor. No history, no old walls, no neighbors who know too much. At 6:12 a.m., I walked into my kitchen and saw a white door between the refrigerator and the window. Brass knob, warm yellow light underneath. There was a photo taped to it. I stepped closer. The photo showed me asleep in my bed, and sitting beside me was Maggie, the real Maggie. She was looking directly into the camera, holding a piece of paper. It said, "Now it knows what I used to call you." Then a voice behind the door whispered, "Not Evan, not brother." It used the name only my sister ever called me when we were kids.
Ivy?
I've been standing in front of this door for 20 minutes. I know I shouldn't open it, but this time, it got the name right, and I'm not sure there's only a monster behind the door anymore.